Hello everyone. I decided to record an introduction to the group so I can give you an idea of what to expect over the next 8 weeks and to give you some tips to help this group work for you. First of all is my disclaimer that I am not an expert, nor do I profess to be perfect in doing all of these things. However, I have studied health quite a bit, not only in my profession as a physical therapist assistant, but also just as a hobbyist who enjoys learning about self-improvement, mental health, and physical health. I have tried all of the suggestions that I am going to share with you and have found them to be personally helpful. These are suggestions only, so take what feels right for you, leave the rest, or feel free to choose something else that you want to focus on. That being said, don't immediately dismiss a suggestion because it seems silly or too simple. We know that by small and simple things, great things can be brought to pass. So give it a try, or at least be open to the idea as you're deciding. Lastly, my full disclosure is that I made this group partly because lately I found myself slipping into habits that don't serve me, and I wanted a group to help me focus on replacing these habits with healthy ones that I have used in the past and found to be helpful. I don't intend for this to feel like I'm adding one more thing to your to-do list, but rather I'd like for these suggestions to be things that you can seamlessly implement into your day. One way you can do this is through habit stacking, which is a form of habit implementation created by BJ Fogg as part of his Tiny Habits program. I learned about this through the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and if you do a Google search, you can easily find a nice web page explaining all this in detail. But the basic formula is that after or before you do a current habit that you already have, you will and then insert a new habit. One example is after I sit down to dinner, I will say one thing I'm grateful for that happened today. Or after I brush my teeth, I'll take my vitamins. Or after I put dinner away, I'll pack my lunch for the next day. Some other examples of habit stacking I've used lately are before I go to bed, I will fill my water bottle and set it out on the counter with my vitamins so that it's readily available the next morning. Another one was I wanted to practice meditation more and found that my mornings were pretty hectic, but I did find that after I dropped my daughter off at school, I could sit in the parking lot for a 3-minute meditation while the traffic cleared out before I drove to work. So those are some suggestions as ways that you can use the habit stacking method to incorporate these new habits. Each week I'll introduce 2 different habits that you can implement into your day, one being physical health and another addressing mental and emotional health. So for over the 8 weeks, there will be 16 habits that I will suggest to you. I don't expect you to be able to continue with all 16 habits throughout the 8 weeks. That's why I suggest you use the take it or leave it approach that I introduced before. Some habits you may try for just that week. Others you may want to put in your back pocket for another time. It may be more beneficial to focus on keeping just 1 or 2 to practice implementing throughout the 8 weeks so that you establish them as a very solid habit. Let God guide you in this so it can be an uplifting versus an overwhelming experience. Overall, I'm just excited to share some of the things I've learned with you and create a supportive environment where we can encourage each other in healthy habits.